Hey guys, it's me. Welcome back to Hypermine. Today we're going to be looking at the completion of our nuclear power. We're actually going to be looking at our completed nuclear power. I did record an episode completing this on camera. However, firstly, it turned out to be about an hour and a half worth of footage, and not much of it could be cut without it not making sense. But it wasn't, at the same time, it wasn't very interesting. Secondly, as of tonight, well, it's now 12:30 in the morning on Thursday the 29th, I've had to rewire and reconfigure pretty much everything I did in that episode to make it work again, because we've updated and Douche Tech Intergalactic has changed a ton of recipes, and not for the better, just needless overcomplication of recipes. I mean, this isn't one that's relevant to today's episode, but for example, mixed metal ingot now requires these plates, and those plates, I mean, yeah, basically the same things that would have been ingots but now in plates. If you want to make those plates, you need a plate bending machine. So you need an extra machine now to make mixed metal ingots. Frankly, I don't like to moan and whinge about stuff in these videos because it annoys me. But I'm going to make an exception for Mr. Greg and his tech, because it seems to me that he seems to take a delight in making things more complicated than is sensible, really. If it's to make content more difficult to get at, then that's one thing, but you're not going to stop the likes of Armitage owning every single machine in the game and being able to make things on will. So why even bother, you know? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go postscript on you and explain everything that I've done to get our automated nuclear power running. Firstly, I'll explain the difference in the pig spawner. I wanted spiders in there to get string to make windmills for LechGen, and the way we had it set up before wasn't working, so I basically made it a whole big drop, basically. So if I flick that, boom, but we've got 85,000 string, so oh, don't need that at the moment. Okay, so let's have a look. I guess we'll start with the reactor. To start with, if we look over here, we can see a screen telling us our reactor's giving us 2080 EU per tick, which is great, and it's running at no degrees temperature. So let's hop in here and I'll show you what's going on. So this is our reactor setup. We've got the lapis coolers and the quad uranium cells. We have a heat vent here because when these things get swapped out, it does spike a bit, so you need a heat vent to bring the temperature back down. we have emerald pipes with autartic gates, and the emerald pipes, we've got 2 with condensers at maximum damage set in, and the maximum damage has now changed for those. It used to be 999, and now it's 1000. So that is that's a thing to be aware of. And is it this one? No, that's the other cooler. This one has to be set to items in inventory, because the wireless receiver here is powering the block, and it stops that working. Right. Oh, no, come on. There we go. So this one has near depleted uranium cells in the filter. I have used these before, but if you are unfamiliar with emerald pipes, they act like wooden pipes, but you can set filters. They're a bit weird. You would think that you'd be able to put lots of different things in the filters and it would just pull any of those that it finds, but it doesn't. It does them sequentially. So if you want to reliably pull a particular item out of an inventory, you need to have only that in the filter. Otherwise it will pull one and then try and start pulling the next thing in the filter. And if it never finds it, then it'll never pull another item. So and they are all going to an ender chest, and they're all the same ender chest. So yeah, on the bottom here we've got 4 energy bridges, all going to different liquid tesseracts with misspelt things. That's meant to be woolly steam. So I've got 4 different steam outlets for this reactor. So when I finish converting all my stuff to run off this, important stuff will get like its own liquid tesseract, its own channel to run off, and then less important stuff will share channels probably. So that's got stuff on it, and that's got stuff on it, but I think no, it's got a little bit on it. That's strange. But this one is free, so I don't know. It's probably overkill, to be honest, but there does seem to be a limit at how much steam you can push out of these things, and it's less than the amount you can produce. So cool. 300 EU a tick going somewhere there. 2 EU a tick going somewhere there. Couple. So we've still got plenty of capacity in this thing to power more stuff, as you would hope. And of course, I've got more arcane levitators, so this now works. Yeah. This is all controlled by this wall of routers, and each one of these is set to insert into a particular slot. So there's one for every inventory slot in the reactor, and these are all fed by export buses. So this is pretty much the same as what you saw with the in episode 1 with the breeder reactor, except on a much bigger scale. I've also implemented logic for both reactors. So I got rid of the thermal monitor on the breeder, and we've got this remote thermal monitor here. And behind this facade we have an ME level emitter, and on the other side as well. So they power the block, which power these red alloy wires, and this powers directly. So the alloy wires go into this AND gate. This powers directly into the AND gate. So we have 3 conditions that must all be true before it will send a signal through the wireless transmitter, which is picked up by a receiver that's on the reactor. For the breeder, the conditions are I need to have at least 4 thorium double cells for the reactor to run. So I've got an extra load to go in there. And at least 64 depleted isotope cells. Well, as you can see, I've got 62 thorium double cells and 19,000 odd depleted isotope cells. So not worried there. I don't know. This was just for the sake of doing it, really. This logic board is far more important. Again, remote thermal monitor set to 500. And then behind here we have a level emitter for these lapis condensators, and must always have at least 10 in the system. And then I must always have 1024 lapis in the system. Now, the thinking behind that is, obviously, if the reactor gets hot, it will turn the AND gate off and shut down the power reactor. If we start running out of lapis, i.e. we're not making it as fast as it's being used, eventually this will trip at 1024 lapis left and it will turn it off. Now if something weird happens and we end up not having enough lapis condensators, even though we've got loads of lapis, then you can see 19, one of them's been pulled, it's been restored and put into the system again. So if for some reason they start getting eaten or something, or someone comes along or I come along and for some reason take them all out of the system, then it will shut them down if there are less than 10. So it will turn this signal off, turn the AND gate off and shut down the reactor. So that is all pretty good there. Let's pop up here. Now, we've got our LZH restoration. Now, this is the same coding as the ender chest down in the reactor room, the 3 ender chests down there. So any depleted lapis condensators or depleted isotope cells come into this ender chest. There is an import bus on the back of this, which is filtered for depleted isotope cells, or near depleted isotope cells, pardon me. So it'll pull those out. And the lapis condensators don't get pulled out, they stay in here. And then we've got a fabricator here with an ME interface behind it telling it to export 3 lapis. So it'll pull the depleted condensators from here and lapis out of the ME system, and it will turn them into fully recharged condensators. Fantastic, and that works pretty well. Yeah, so that's that. Come to that in a minute. Here is a system that, well, originally was these 2 blocks, and now it involves these as well. So originally, what this did is there's a level emitter that exports re-enriched uranium cells. There's an export bus with level emitter combo, and it exports re-enriched uranium cells into here if there are less than 10 thorium double cells. And when you centrifuge re-enriched uranium cells, you get, or you used to get, plutonium cells, something else, more depleted isotope cells, I think, or near depleted isotope cells, and thorium single cells. And then this fabricator would grab them and turn them into thorium double cells. Note the copper plate. Previously, this was a copper ingot. This is one of Mr. Greg's techs that because it wasn't making double cells, and that's because the recipe is now different. And the copper plate needs a bending machine, which is not not in here, but I'll come to that. So now, when you centrifuge re-enriched uranium cells, you actually get thorium dust, which needs to be compressed. So we've got this running off an export bus for thorium dust to compress it. That's being pulled by this this router. Now that's not necessary for this. You can put an import bus on the side, or even a storage bus, and it will work just fine. However, this here is a canning machine, because the thorium dust gets compressed into ingots, and you then have to combine it with empty cells in a canning machine or an automatic canning machine to make thorium cells, single cells. Now this has to have its cells imported from the bottom and its ingots imported from this side. And then I did have an export bus here where the router is, and I probably lost about 2 stacks of cells and thorium ingots trying to figure out where they were going, and I still don't know where they were all going, but the thorium cells were being pulled out and gone. No idea. They checked out basically. But what I did find was an item router will pull it out and hold it in its inventory, no problem, from these slots here. And we know, or I know now that item routers will pull, an import bus will pull from an item router, no problem. So I'm using this as a intermediary machine to stop something, whatever it was happening, something eating all my thorium cells. So yeah, that is now working. So to recap that, you've got re-enriched uranium to centrifuge. Is it going to finish? We're going to be able to see you? No? Fine. So re-enriched uranium to centrifuge, which makes thorium dust, which gets compressed into thorium ingots, which gets canned into thorium single cells, which gets fabricated into thorium double cells. Whew. Why are you still centrifuging stuff? We have 62 thorium double cells. Am I missing something here? I might have my level emitter set wrong. I need to fix that quickly. There, export bus there. Thorium double cells 10 emit when levels are above active without signal. So why are you? What's that there? That's an import bus, that's fine. Redstone mode, active without signal. Oh, it's got lava in. Where's it getting lava from? Huh? What? Well, that's lovely, but where are you getting lava from? I have no idea where that's even coming from. Is it part of the... thorium dust from industrial centrifuge? You get See, you don't even get, you get the cells back at least, but near depleted, empty cells, plutonium dust. I have no idea why this has got lava in it. Makes no sense. And I'm not going to figure it out now. Right, okay, well, centrifuging lava is something that I do want to happen. I'll come back to that. Okay, so changes to what you've already seen. These two rooms are responsible for me logging in last week and finding I had no copper and no tin whatsoever. Ate it all. So this room's the simplest. In this room, I've put a level emitter here telling me, and that was temporarily set like that, if I've got less than 1024 tin ingots, emit redstone. So it will stop making empty cells when I've got less than 1024 tin. That is temporarily turned off. There we go. So yes, that stops it eating all of my tin. And over here, well, I did do a system and I've had to redo it because now you can't compress copper into dense copper plates. You need to compress copper plates into dense copper plates. So we've had to put in this plate bending machine, which gets copper and turns it into copper plates. We've got some logic here as well. So firstly, if there are 64, if there are less than 64 copper plates, emit redstone, and the export bus that exports copper into there to get turned into copper plates is active with a signal. Okay, so if there are less, so if there are less than that, it exports copper into here. Then we have an export bus on top of this compressor, and a level emitter pointed at it that says if there are less than 64 normal copper plates, emit redstone. And the export bus up there is also active without signal. So sorry, that one is active with signal, that one is active without signal. So the way this works is it will make dense, it will export copper into here until we have 64 dense copper plates. However, this will not start making dense copper plates unless we have more than 64 normal copper plates. So we should have a stack of each on hand when it finally catches up. I've only just set all this up tonight, so you can see this is building up, and then I might have to tweak that logic. And again, simply because with lack of room and you can't pull from the bottom of these things, I've used a router to extract from both of these machines. Then over here, these fabricators are now being turned off by redstone level emitters. I cannot get to anything back here anymore. There you go, you can actually click them through the facades, and they say if there are less than 32 dense copper plates, emit redstone. Same on that one, and that turns these off. So these won't start processing things until we have more than 32 dense copper plates. I've just realised something actually. I've made a dreadful mistake. At no point have I told it we need to keep a certain amount of copper on hand. Right, as this is the thing that's exporting copper, I'm going to change this. Still a bit of copper out of there. we're going to change this filter to copper and say we need to have at least, as we've got a lot at the moment, let's keep that nice and high, 3000 copper. So emit when levels are below 3000 copper, and that wants to be active then without signal. So if that gets below 3000 copper, it will turn on, and that will stop that making that. And then, so this, emit when it's below. What is someone left a chicken in my base somewhere? And that's active without signal. Right, so then this will only export dense copper plates to be turned into copper plates to be turned into dense copper plates if there are more than 64 copper plates. Whew. Okay, well that's good. I could have logged in a few days' time and found that I had no copper. I would have not been happy. Yes. Speaking of no copper, I've set up this room here. And basically what we've got here are 12 industrial centrifuges that are being fed lava from the public lava source, and it's centrifuging the lava, and that gives you copper and tin and two things I don't care about. They are being fed lava through liquiducts, and then I'm using a couple of item routers here and here to extract from these industrial centrifuges. And I think that is pretty much it, technically. Yeah. Oh, there was one thing. If you want to do what I've done here with this, one thing you need to do before you set up all your export business, you want to put a stack of dirt into, and before you put the reactor in place, importantly, you want to put a stack of dirt into the first three of these, because we're using iron furnaces to transfer the items. If you put a stack of dirt in the first three routers, it'll put some dirt in all of the iron furnaces, only three slots, and that'll mean that your uranium and your coolant units won't get put in the iron furnaces, because it can't stack with the dirt. They can't stack with the dirt that's already there. Right, well, I think I've managed to cover it all and have a moan in 27 minutes, apparently. Yes, really, really, really not happy with the way that Greg Tech has just pounced along and made everything needlessly complicated. I mean, I'm all for complication, but you would think he would be satisfied with the amount of different steps that I'd already got in something like this, that he wouldn't feel the need that some basic operations needed to be twice as complicated as they were before. I understand that he's changed certain things completely, like fusion reactors. If you built a fusion reactor and you upgrade, you've no longer got a fusion reactor. It's just a collection of random blocks. Which is, I don't know, seems to me to be pretty poor way to run your mod. But yes, I did start moving after recording the episode you're never going to see, moving some of my machines and making some new ones as well. So we've got compressors with recipes in. Haven't got recipes for that one yet. I've got an extractor, and I do want to check something. This used to be a thing back in, like on the old map, basically. Can you extract rubber out of these guys? Sure, you used to be able to do that, but it was the IC2 rubber trees, not the Mine Factory rubber trees, so... Alright, never mind. And furnace with recipes in, and a couple more furnaces with export buses for dusts. And again, I really love these routers. They're just brilliant. Everything getting extracted from their south side, which for all of these machines is the correct side, into here, and then re-imported back into the system. So that works really well. I have a lovely gift from Armitage. AESU. Fantastic. Yeah, it gave me that when I finished putting the reactor together. And this is attached to, this is the one that's only got like 0 to 2 EU a tick, because it's full. So at the moment it's only putting out 32 EU a tick. I will overclock these and voltage transformer upgrade them as well, but I can't do that because I can't make overclockers anymore because apparently I can. Must be different recipes that need those things. So I'm gonna overclock them, and just for the moment, let's just put one in. Oh, yeah. That one's got 4 in because it's a recipe based one. And I think these are overclocked. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this whole level is going to be my IC2 level, and I think this level will be either this level or this level will be my buildcraft level. Probably this level. I've stolen the Times Square Jumbotron. Sorry, kids film reference. Yep, it's got my breeder and power reactors on both 2 sides each, and you will notice the lack, well, the painted in gap where our spiral staircase used to be. I think it's still back there. And that's because our arcane levitators now go all the way up here. So still got some stuff here that needs moving, that needs moving, and all of this needs moving. I'm making glowstone cheatily using the Tome of Alcahest, because I've got tons of redstone, but glowstone basically it turns 1 glowstone into 2, so lovely. And the clay you've already seen. That is windmills for Lekigen being automatically crafted. It's waiting on iron strips to make more. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We don't need 20. Never have any tin if I do that. I have to feed some iron strips into there. And finally, yeah, we've got a way into this room here. I'm going to move all of this. I had to power this thing up with this because my magmatic engines were no longer producing enough for... I could do with more 64Ks. Can you do that? we're no longer producing enough power to power the ME network so big now. But yeah, I'm going to move all of this. This light here is just so that it's the skylight to get rid of the void fog at the bottom. Had to keep that. Well, you made one. Excellent. Can you make another one? Or are you now crafting processors? Probably. And oh yeah, that's something else. I've made this little setup here, just put it here temporarily. What we've got here is an interface, which is actually the one that crafts me water cells and water buckets from the liquid transposer. But I just bunged an export bus for ME advanced processors and told it to always craft, and then give it a level emitter saying 20. And then the same on this one with basic processors, always craft, and a level emitter for 64. And so that should mean that we will always have 64 basic processors and 20 advanced processors on hand. Now we don't have those at the moment because I've just ordered a ton of 64K storage units, and those things take an absolute butt ton of processors, the basic ones, and quite a few of the advanced ones as well. So yeah, it's going to be having to craft those up. Yeah, I think that's everything. Just this now comes all the way up to this little bit here. This is just access to the back, the gubbins for the portal dialer. And this comes up in our house, and I've added this little bookshelf with yet more info panels about the reactors on. So, because I really want to be able to see what these things are doing from wherever I am. And the final thing to see is I've had the builders in, the Hypermine Planning Commission, in fact, so really properly official. They've finished my sauna, which is fantastic. It's very steamy in there. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's... oh, and I made a dopey little couch. I can't look in throughout the window. Oh, never mind. Anyway, sorry for the rushed run through there, and it is 37 minutes. It's a long one, but sod it. No editing for you guys this time. I need to get this rendering so that I can get it uploaded in the morning, so that you will get your Wednesday night Hypermine episode. So oh, I made a post box as well. No, I didn't know. So until next time, guys, better episode next time, I promise. Yeah, take care of yourselves.